Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW philosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about yet another anti-male article from The Guardian, that piece of crap feminist asswipe newspaper that is essentially worthless, and by the way, they're in financial trouble. Imagine that, a newspaper that is all anti-male, almost 100% feminist in both the makeup of its stories and its staff, and you'll wonder why they're having financial troubles. They're losing money. I wonder why. Well, maybe it's articles like this that could be why. The evidence is mounting. A man's place is in the home, says Hadley Freeman, and we can see her hideous picture here. She's trying to look hot, but she's anything but. She's a post-war woman, and of course, she thinks that there should be no men in the workplace. Geez, I wonder what that sounds like. Doesn't that sound like what people were saying back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and up until the 60s? That, hey, women's place is in the home. Well, now it's a man's place. Haven't I told all of you before that women want to do nothing more than flip the script and become the dominant species on the planet, and they want to put men into a submissive role? They're in no way about equality. All they want to do is take over, in their minds anyway, get all the power that they believe men used to have. They want to be the ones that are prominent in the workplace. They want to be the ones that are dominating all industries. Except, of course, the jobs that are, distasteful, like sewer cleaner and garbage collector. You can still let the Morlocks do that stuff. You can still let the bottom dwellers do that stuff. But us Eloys, being the women, we want to be in charge of everything. We want to control everything. And we want men to be in their place, which is beneath us, beneath our heels of our shoes, of course. So it goes on to say, this isn't about a single industry or a few bad apples here and there. This is about men harassing women. Men dismissing women. Oh, so automatically, I can guess what the body of this story is going to entail, which essentially is, men are just so horrible to women in the workplace that we just need to get rid of all of them and replace them with women. And then things would be so much better. We would be a lot less productive, but hey, and we would have in no way the equality that we say we claim to want. We claim to want equality. Yeah, we're all about equality, but we don't want 50-50. We want 100-0, and the men, they need to stay at home and raise the pay piece and clean the house, and we'll go to work. But I thought you were about equality. Interesting. Let's see what I can already tell is going to be a crappy story, has to say. Oh, I love it. So the first thing you see is a knock at Fox News. So you automatically know you're dealing with a leftist here. Oh, that's just Fox News, people say when Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly were exposed as revolting sexual harassers. You gotta love it, don't you? Oh, so, okay, 2 guys sexually harassed women, supposedly. I haven't heard yet of any criminal charges being pressed. So this is just allegedly, okay? So they allegedly harassed someone, so what? What are you talking about? So what? Yeah, so because in the media you're hearing about 2 men. That's because the media doesn't report when women harass men or women rape men or women abuse men. You don't hear about that in the media. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens just as much with women. What's your point? Oh, you're trying to say that men are overwhelmingly more likely to abuse, to harass women than women. Well, that's a lie, of course. But let's continue, shall we? Oh, that's just the movie business, people said when the Weinstein scandal unrolled. Have you noticed the theme here? These are all people who are in the entertainment industry, media, TV, movies. Gee, it sure seems like she's cherry picking here just to try and prove her point. Oh, that's just the fashion industry. People said when Terry Richardson was blacklisted by Condé Nast International a decade after women started speaking out about him. By the time harassment stories were emerging from journalism, politics, the arts, it felt like all industries, by the way, which are controlled by the left. It felt like maybe this wasn't about a single industry or a few bad apples here and there. Yeah, it is about a few bad apples here and there. There are bad apples everywhere, including women. What's your point? This is about men. And what? Well, I guess this story's about men, because you're certainly not going to talk about the women who do this kind of stuff. You just have to love bias, don't you? I mean, this woman lives in an echo chamber world where she just hears her own views parroted back at her. Hey, honey, women harass and abuse and rape men just as much as men rape women. You just don't talk about it because you're probably not aware of it because you don't do any study. You just have this ideological bubble that you live in that informs you about reality, but it's not really real reality. It's just an ideology. You've been programmed, lady. Yeah, this is about men. Well, you want to make it about men, okay? Because you want to get more power, as the title of this piece shows. Men harassing women. What, you say that like it's somehow worse for a man to harass a woman than a woman to harass a man. Oh, well, of course it is, because women are the chosen. They're angels. They're godlike. They are above men. They are better than men, even though they are objectively provable to be worse in every way. Men dismissing women who say they've been harassed. And when does this happen? When is this? Where is this happening? I mean, that's illegal, you know. In these days and age, in this day and age, when that happens, women sue and win. You're talking about the past. This is like the 70s and 80s, you know? Continues to say, and now men bleeding that they don't know how to behave around women today. What men are saying? Well, honestly, you women flip the script so much, and you're so unpredictable, and you're so irrational and unstable. It's kind of hard to know what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable with you guys, which is, of course, the whole point, really, just to create more division and more tension between the sexes. Because not inserting sexualized banter into every conversation they have with women is apparently too difficult a concept for them to handle. Well, considering you ladies are essentially looking for sexualized content in every single conversation, and you see it even when it's not there, and you insert it into and imply meaning to things that had no such meaning, it's impossible to get to a conversation with you guys without you inferring some kind of meaning, whether it was meant or not. She goes on to say, so I'd like to make a modest proposal. Men need to be banned from the workplace. What's modest about that, you dumb broad? Okay, guys, imagine for a second that some man said, women are irrational and unstable. They're moody, and they're always flipping the script and changing their mind about what's acceptable. They just don't seem to know how to act in the workplace around men. So I have a modest proposal for you. Let's just ban all women from the workplace. Oh my God, you're an evil Satanist. You're a misogynistic, horrible man. We need to string you up. It would be an outrage. People would be crying out from the East Coast to the West Coast for my head if I were to say something like that in some kind of major media piece. But of course, a woman does it. It's crickets. There's nothing. Men need to be banned from the workplace? What? You've had a good run, men. You've been running literally everything for what? No, what are you talking about? Men haven't been running anything for a long time. What are you talking about? We're beholden to you women because you're the majority of voters. What are you talking about? It must be great to live by your own subjective view of the world. Mustn't that be great? I mean, everything you subjectively feel is what's actually real instead of just, you know, the actual reality where you're kind of a loser and you can't really make it on your own 2 feet. So, you know, that's depressing. So now I'm going to create this subjective reality where I can blame everybody else for being a loser, and I can continue to be a loser, but tell myself I'm a winner instead of just being a lazy bastard with no ambition. Oh, wow, that's great. You've been writing the narratives. What? Okay, pieces like this are disinformation, okay? It's leftists and feminists taking everything that's been said to them, and they're just flipping around and using it against those of us who see how things really are. Unfortunately, some of the most prominent political narrative writers, including Mark Halpern, Leon Weisleiter, and Matt Taibbi, these guys have hard to pronounce names, to say nothing of the Fox News assaulters. The Fox News assaulters? So she tries to tie in the name of Fox News with a plural pejorative to make it look like all of Fox are assaulters. Very, very nice move there, honey. Have now been accused of disgusting behavior with women. Two guys! Come on. By the way, accused? Women are accusing guys of things all the time, and they often are lying. What are you talking about? It's accused. So accused is the equivalent of guilty. I see. And what about all those cases where women are accusing men of rape, and then the guy turns out to not have done it? Huh? But his life is ruined. Huh? But they've been accused, so they're guilty, right? Even though they're not guilty. Oh, my. Which may at least partly explain their uniformly negative depictions of Hillary Clinton. Let me tell you something. Hillary Clinton needs no help depicting herself negatively. This robotic cunt, ugly ass, bitch who may or may not be suffering from a serious illness that causes her to fall down every 2 minutes has no problem making herself look bad. She has that horrid rapist husband of hers who everybody apologizes for and ignores the fact that he's been accused of rape on multiple occasions, and she helped him cover it up. And by the way, do you forget the case where back in Hillary's younger days when she was a lawyer, she got some child rapist off and laughed about making the girl cry on the stand? Oh, she's only a 12-year-old child. I made her cry. And all this crap. Oh, yeah, but she's so wonderful. And what has been the end result of those narratives? You mean the ones that Hillary herself wrote and the news media just reported on? A man who brags about assaulting women was elected, but he didn't. He was... He was speaking abstractly. He wasn't speaking about any specific incident. You moron, you. But why are these women sharing a cab with a man, in a room with a man, breathing air near a man? What? You're talking like men are some kind of disease. Oh, well, that's what she thinks. Men are horrible. Men are a disease. Men are degenerate scum. They shouldn't be in any office place, any workplace, anywhere. Interesting. Huh. Geez, I wonder why the word feminism has fallen out of popularity and very few women identify as feminists anymore, and why so many feminists are now trying to claim they are anti-feminists when they're really just feminists. Yeah, that's a real hard question to answer. Oh, my God. Breathing air near man has long been the response to allegations of sexual harassment, as if men just can't control their inherent rapey nature. Okay, it looks like there's a line missing here because I see a... But why are these women sharing a cab with a man? This next sentence doesn't make any sense. It looks like there's a sentence missing. I don't know. After the question mark, air near man, there's a question mark, but it's not capitalized. Anyway, let's move on from the horrible writing of this woman. And by the way, it seems like leftists can't write. It seems like every friggin' news article I read, there's misspellings and grammar errors. What the hell? Has long in response to allegations of sexual assault, as if men just can't... Rapey nature? What the fuck you talking about? I just read some research, which I'm going to post a video on, that says women rape men as much as men rape women. The only difference is that women rape younger men in their teens because they're weaker and easier to control because women don't have the physical strength to assault, okay? But it's still rape. Oh, but... I thought that men were worse than women. No, women just lack the physical strength, so they prey on weaker young men, meaning boys. This nonsense that women are somehow, more noble and less disgusting and less horrid. I mean, yeah, women are less horrible than men. Men are worse. Yes, men are bigger degenerates by far than women. No, they're equal. In these ways, they are equal. Okay? It's just how they go about carrying out their degeneracy that differs. But being degenerate, men and women are equal. But why these calls, then, to brand men as more degenerate than women by far? In fact, women are not degenerate at all. Why these calls? Because women are not concerned about, feminists are not concerned about, well, they're both really one and the same, because the majority of women are feminists, even though they don't want to identify as feminists because feminism has become unpopular. And when you think of feminists, you think of some big raving fat broad with purple hair, lots of armpit hair, nose rings, and she's a fat slob, and she's calling men evil and saying they all need to die. You don't want to be associated with that crazy person, so you change yourself and your moniker to something like anti-feminist or non-feminist, when really you're still a feminist. Here we go. She continues to say, not all men. I hear men cry. You hear men cry. Well, they're pussies then. And this is indeed true, but quite a few men know. And I'm guessing no woman has ever masturbated into a plant in front of a horrified journalist, as Weinstein allegedly did. What? So what? Harvey Weinstein, by the way, I don't know, allegedly. I don't know what happened. Did he actually do that? We don't know. When you have a he said, she said, I'm not going to just believe the woman. I believe that their words have equal weight. So I'm not going to believe him or her until I get some corroboration. That's how the law should work. Of course, the law doesn't work that way. If a woman says, a man victimized me, hurt me, she gets 90% weight, he gets 10%, he automatically gets arrested without any corroboration from the police. That's what this woman wants everywhere. Except she actually wants 100%. No men in the workplace at all. Would there even be enough women in the country to do all the work? I mean, could you even do that? Of course. But of course, you know, she would still want the Morlocks down there scrubbing the sewers and shit. That's fine. Let them scrub the sewers, and then the women can take 100% of the good jobs. Okay. Goes on to say that no woman has dismissed stories of her partner being sexually harassed. Well, first of all, men are... what are you talking about? Women... Yeah, you just don't take it seriously. Yeah, you do dismiss it. You're just... what are you talking about? First of all, men rarely, if ever, report being sexually assaulted because they're big, they're strong, they have pride, they have ego. They don't want to admit ever being victims, especially to a small, weak woman. They don't like to talk about being victimized. Men are, generally speaking, stoic creatures. So you're rarely going to hear men talk about this stuff. That's why women are so easily able to portray themselves as the culture's victims, because they're whiny babies that are in no way strong, even though they tout themselves as these strong, independent creatures. But they're big, whiny babies, and anytime they're hurt in any way, shape, or form, they whine and they cry about it, while men just take it and don't say a word in most cases. But that doesn't mean it's not happening to us. It's happening to us just as much as it is you ladies, and at your hands. We just, shrug our shoulders and bear it and go on with our lives, unlike you whiny little babies who have to play the victim card. So no woman has dismissed stories of her partner being sexually harassed and then continued to work with that sexual harasser. Men do that all the time. Men are harassed all the time by female bosses and female workmates, and most of the time they just continue and push onward. They're not whiny little babies like women, as Quentin Tarantino did when his then partner Mira Sorvino told him she had been harassed by Weinstein. Okay. Yeah, what does that mean, harassed, okay? He solicited sex? Oh, you want to bang? No, thank you. Oh, the less idea of harassment is so loose and so amorphous and ever-changing that it's hard to really pin down what they consider harassment. Could you be a little more specific? No, we can't be more specific, because if we're more specific, you can actually attack what we call sexual harassment and totally wreck it. So we're not going to get more specific so that you can hone in on and break apart our arguments. No, we're not going to give arguments. We're just going to be vague in general. Daryl Hannah has since claimed that Weinstein tried to assault her when she was promoting Kill Bill. What does that mean, tried to assault her? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. You're not saying anything. How did he try to assault her? Could you give us specifics? No, you can't give us specifics. You're just going to be very general? Well, that just means it's up to her interpretation. Well, he could have just said something nice or complimented her dress or something, and she considers that sexual harassment. You people on the left, you'll label anything sexual harassment if you can, if it's coming from a man. It goes on to say, unless anyone be tempted to dismiss this as beyond their sphere of experience. Oh, those crazy celebrities. Well, first of all, you haven't established any sexual harassment. And except for stating a very... You see, this is very interesting. Because this writer gave an actual example, a specific example, saying that Harvey Weinstein had been accused of masturbating into a plant in front of a journalist. That's very specific, isn't it? Why did they get that specific? You know why this woman got that specific? Because it's a grotesque action, and you don't need to be purposely vague to let our imaginations do the work for you. That's why you should doubt when they start saying stuff like, he allegedly sexually assaulted her. He allegedly tried to, so he didn't even sexually assault her. He tried. So there was no sexual assault. What are you complaining about? I could think of a dozen instances in my life where some woman has tried, by your loose definition, to sexually assault me, but it didn't happen. There was no sexual assault. So what the fuck are you talking about? And by the way, you're not giving specific actions like you did. And by the way, if there was any specific action that was so bad, you would have named it, just like you did with the masturbation in the plant, because that's grotesque. I think we all can agree that that is reprehensible. But you don't have any good example, so you keep things vague and general and non-specific when you've got nada. She goes on to say, and here's a more prosaic story for you. You've given no stories. You haven't told us anything. You've made vague allegations which aren't even anywhere near making a point or an argument or telling any story. You've told nothing. Somebody tried to do something. What something? I can't say. I don't know what something, but something. What? When British freelance journalist Sam Criss was accused last month of being sexually aggressive. What does that mean? Was accused last month of being sexually aggressive. Can you give me specifically what he did? No? Then shut the fuck up. One of Chris's male friends tweeted that the accusations were harrowing, but this story wasn't harrowing. What story? I don't see a story. This is the thing. This is another problem I have with leftist idiots. They don't tell stories. Or they just spin bullshit. They just get into It's not a story. If I'm saying, last week, someone went somewhere, did something with somebody, and then went somewhere and did something. What? What story? You just got a bunch of pronouns and, nothing else. And you're not giving specifics about anything. That's not a story. Well, that's all this shit is. He was sexually aggressive. Wait, what? That's your opinion. Based on what? Can you tell us what actually happened? Harrowing. It was grimly every day. What? But this story wasn't harrowing. It was grimly every day. What does that mean? What? I don't understand this. It was grimly every day? What? This person can't write. It is in no way a defense of Chris to say that his alleged behavior. What behavior? You haven't told us anything. You think you just get to say sexually aggressive and you've told us something? And now we're supposed to hate the guy? Yeah, this is the wonderful thing about the left. They've re-educated everybody to believe whatever they hear. If I'm in the media and I tell you something, you'll believe it. And then I'm going to attach a negative moniker to it, like sexually aggressive. Oh, he's a sexually aggressive person. He's a sexual aggressor. He's a sexual harasser. He's a sexual assaulter. I attach all these negative pejoratives to this one term. And I can automatically label this person as evil and anti-woman. And automatically you're going to hate him. You don't even know what he did, but I've attached a label to him, and now he must be destroyed. So it's in no way a defense of Chris to say that his alleged behavior, refusing to buy a woman a drink unless it had alcohol in it, forcibly trying to go home with her. Well, what does that mean? Again, there's no specific there. What does that mean, forcibly trying to go home with her? How do you force somebody to go home with you? What did he actually do? No details, just more vague generalities. Your interpretation of probably something that was very innocent, but you're trying to make it look more sordid than it actually is familiar to every woman who has been on dates with men. What? Wait a second. So trying to get a chick to come home with you, even if you're not like doing something illegal, is forcibly trying to make her do something. That's very interesting. You see how the left brands totally innocuous and innocent things as some kind of forceful, criminal, immoral behavior? Do you see how they try to essentially brand everything that's innocent in society as evil so that every man becomes a perpetrator and every woman becomes a victim? Very interesting. Women have been talking about this for decades. And what has been the response? Men shrugging their shoulders. Yeah, because you are taking something that is innocent and not illegal and nobody did anything, and you're trying to rebrand it into something evil for your own vile purposes, which is taking over and trying to flip the script and create actual oppression where before there was none, with men as the victims under your boot heel, as you continue to cry that you're the victim just so you can steal more power and remove all men from the workplace. And by the way, what happened to this whole article, which was about your absurd, nonsensical idea to remove all men from the workplace? Hey, let's just muddy the waters and distract people from the fact that you're a freaking psycho. Men shrugging their shoulders, men telling women it's sexist to demand women-only spaces. But isn't that sexist by your own definitions of sexism? Oh, well, we have a double standard, so it doesn't apply to us. Yeah, you can only be racist against everybody else but white people. Oh, I see. Men then expressing shock that one of their own admits culpability. Wait. This is more of that identity politics bullshit. What do you mean one of our own? There's like 3.5 billion men on the earth. What are you saying? If some man somewhere else does something wrong, all men are guilty? Oh, I see. Okay. Continue. But doesn't that mean that if a woman does something bad, that all women are guilty too? Oh, no, that logic only applies to men because it's inconvenient for us to apply the same rules that we apply to everybody else to ourselves. She goes on to say that, which brings us back to Weinstein, who I met a few times through work, but though thankfully never assaulted me. Lady, he never assaulted anybody, okay? He offered quid pro quo. He said, I'll give you a job that for 3 months' work will pay you $20 million if you go down on me. If you suck my cock, I will give you $20 million in the form of an easy job. Oh, okay. And by the way, they didn't have to take the job, honey. Oh, they were coerced. Oh, they were coerced to do it because nobody could turn down that much money. Oh, their futures were at stake. Ooh. But there you go. They made a choice. And they took the money, didn't they? What are you complaining about? 3 years ago, he did write a completely insane article. Whoa, what? You're talking about people writing insane articles after you write this article with that telling picture of a man running a vacuum cleaner while I guess ostensibly his wife is out earning the money and he's now her servant, which was and you're talking about crazy articles in an article where you said all men should be banned from the workplace? Oh my God, the irony. 3 years ago, he wrote a completely insane article about me in the paper when I said one of his parties was boring. Well, of course you would say anything that he does is boring. He's a man and he's more successful than you. Well, that must be just because of patriarchy, not because he is more talented. The last sentence was, next time Hadley Freeman comes to one of our parties, she should relax, loosen up, have a glass of champagne. Yeah, because you're an uptight cunt, which you can tell from this article. And be sure to stay the whole night and really, truly enjoy herself. Yeah, right. That sounds totally unmenacing and professional, right? Enjoy your time at home now. Harvey, yeah, that does sound completely unmenacing. And about professional, he's talking about a party, you dumb bitch. You're there to have fun, not be professional. I mean, semi-professional. You're going to be talking to other people in the entertainment industry, and you're going to be forming, connections and making connections and such. But how professional you expect it to be to a friggin' party? You're there to have fun, you dummy. It's not a business meeting. Oh, but any little chance she can get to take a dig at this guy, she's going to take, of course, because you women have so few opportunities these days to take some man and to hold him up as the evil exemplar of all men, because there's just so few of us out there now who actually are evil, woman-hating oppressors that use and abuse women. We don't exist. So the moment some man pops up who seems to fit your narrative of how all men are horrible, well, yeah. Of course you're going to go after him, and of course you're going to go after him with all barrels because you don't get too many opportunities like this. Oh, no. I mean, honestly, how many people out there think what Harvey Weinstein done was horrible? He hasn't been charged with any crimes because there's been no crime. If this guy raped anybody, that's alleged, this is just the media and the left. The only people using the word rape are crazy leftist, feminist idiots. Oh, maybe her could have possibly thrown in there. No. He didn't assault anybody. Assault implies being forced. He forced no one unless you consider offering them a job that pays $20 million if they have sex with him. And by the way, he'd have to offer that much because have you seen this guy? He looks like Shrek. He looks worse than Shrek. Shrek is a handsome guy compared to friggin' Harvey Weinstein. Well, you can understand why he would need to offer a $20 million deal to get these chicks into bed with him. But given the last week Roman Polanski was honored with a retrospective, despite further rape allegations having recently emerged against him, which he denies Weinstein's time out is by no means guaranteed to be permanent. Well, you know, it won't happen again if no more women want to get jobs badly enough in Hollywood to sleep with the guy to get them. Oh, they're not responsible. It's the man's fault. They were forced to take a job that paid $20+ million for 3 months of work. Ooh, they're so oppressed and such victims. She goes on to say, so it is clearly time to ban men from the workplace. Lady, are you high on crack? What the fuck are you smoking? Ban men from what? What are you talking about? The workplace? Does that include every job that requires men to keep the country going? Like bridge maintenance? Road maintenance, sewer maintenance, maintaining the electrical grid, mining for oil, mining for coal. What are you talking about, you crazy bitch? You need to get outside your little ideological bubble. Ban men from the workplace. You must be talking about only the jobs that women want to do. Yeah, women need equality when it's a good job that they want to do, but they don't need equality when it's a job that they don't want to do. And by the way, they don't need equality in jobs where they dominate. They only want equality for jobs that they want. Equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity, because they already have that, and it's shown that women don't want to enter these jobs. Oh, we can't have that. We have to force women to enter these jobs so that we can take over the narrative of everything, including the narrative that exists in science and everything else that's supposed to be impartial and unbiased. Well, we need to get in there and bias those motherfuckers, and quick. She goes on to say they obviously cannot handle working with women. Maybe you need to flip that. You mean that women cannot handle working with men because they find every opportunity they can to essentially narc these guys out for nothing. They go to every effort they can to interpret the most innocent things as somehow something that was meant to be evil or cruel or sexual to them so they get them fired. Doesn't sound like men are the intolerant ones. It sounds like women are, and it sounds like they're the ones that can't handle working with the opposite sex. And by the way, they don't handle working with other women very well either. And we've been through sagas like this too many times. Like what? Like what? Name them. Name the sagas for me, baby. Oh, you can't name them. You just say that, and we're supposed to take you at your word. No, thank you. You leftist scumbag and your critical theory crap. There's sagas like this too many times now to expect them to change, really. So stay at home, men. Bitch, why don't you stay home and make me a fucking sandwich? Take some time to think about your collective behavior. Collective behavior? What? Everything with her is a collective, right? So Harvey Weinstein did something supposedly bad. So now all men have done something supposedly bad. Well, of course, she's a leftist. She's a feminist. She's a groupthink moron. She thinks in terms of hives. She can only think in terms of collectivism. Of course! Have cold baths. Grill some meat. Yeah, because that's all we're good for, really, grilling meat. Leave the grown-up work to women. Are you kidding me? Women couldn't do grown-up work if they tried. They're big babies who whine and complain so they can get jobs playing soccer, and then they lose to 14-year-old boys. Come on! Give me a break. Oh, and here's the part I love most. Since you're here, we have a small favor to ask. You want a favor from me, cunt? You're not going to get any favors from me, honey. More people are reading The Guardian than ever. Really? But ad revenues across the media are falling fast. If ad meteors are... what are you talking about? If ad revenues are falling, then how are more people reading your rag? Oh, the answer is nobody is. Nobody. Let's flip that. Nobody's reading our crappy newspaper that other people... for some reason, only use to wipe their ass with. So we need your help. And unlike many news organizations, we haven't put up a paywall. We want to keep our journalism as open as we can. What? Notice she didn't say unbiased, but when she says open, what does that mean? What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. What does that mean, your journalism as open as we can? That doesn't mean anything. There's yet another term that means nothing, and then you're just left to essentially guess, imagine what they mean, but she uses what she thinks is a positive buzzword like open. You certainly don't mean unbiased after that story. So you can see why we need to ask for your help. You will get zero help from me, and if there was something that I could donate to close you down, I would. The Guardian's independent? Oh, get out of here. Investigative journalism takes a lot of time to write this rag. Your entire newspaper is nothing more than opinion pieces. You don't report news. You're a propaganda source. Money and hard work. Hard work? Bitch, please, I do more work than you making my YouTube channel to produce, but we do it because we believe our perspective matters. Your perspective matters to you. It matters to nobody else. All you are doing is destroying the Western world. Kudos to you. You're like those idiots in Rome that opened the gates to the barbarians, thinking that those barbarians would treat them kindly, and then those barbarians sacked the city, and we had 700 years of dark ages because of idiots like you. Because it might well be your perspective too. Hell no, I'm not some weak-minded simp that needs other people to tell me how to think for myself, and I don't follow fucking ideologies created by others because I'm some moron who can't see reality for what it is. I appreciate there not being a paywall. It is more democratic for the media to be available for all and not a commodity to be purchased by a few. What are you talking about? Have you listened to their agenda and their point of view, you idiot? Thomasine, you're a moron. If everyone who reads our reporting, who likes it, helps fund it, our future would be much more secure. Yeah, the only problem is all you've got is mostly women following you, and women are cheapskates. They don't donate to anything, and most of the time they have no money to spare anyway. So you've kind of painted yourself into a corner with your man hate. You're going to go out of business, and I'm going to laugh my ass off when you do. For as little as £1. Yeah, by the way, for those of you who don't know, The Guardian is a liberal rag in the UK, which could just be one of the top 5 feminist countries on the planet. You can support The Guardian, and it only takes a minute. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to pass on donating to your piece of crap. And if I had it here in paper form, I would use it to wipe my ass. Let me know what you think of this crappy article in the comments section. And please like, subscribe, and donate to my Patreon. You will find a link in the description of this article, as well as a link in the last 20 seconds of this video. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.